Hi, and welcome to the zone. This is the Fantasy Football Zone, your home for everything fantasy football. Welcome, guys. How are you?
Yeah, thanks.
Elma, I do
Good,
that. Can
good.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yep,
you.
can hear you good.
How are you guys doing?
Doing great. What about you?
I'm also doing good. Nice to see you on a Tuesday evening. I know it's one day late. We usually do this on a Monday, but everyone in the world knows what happened yesterday. Systems went down. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and also StreamYard was affected. So yeah, it was a bit tricky to be able to go live yesterday. But how did that outage affect you guys? You saw Lucas Mora. He tweeted and said
Yeah,
when WhatsApp went down, he finally got a chance to speak to his wife, and wow, she's such a nice person. He was surprised to realize.
yeah,
No, it was crazy not being able to. I think it was so weird not being able to even chat on WhatsApp. I think I was just opening my phone. I'm like, what next should I do? The only thing was just Twitter. The memes were
Yeah,
crazy.
and the banter on Twitter was absolutely amazing. It was like people are having a field day on Twitter. It was so
The
funny.
Facebook went for international break.
It
That
was
one
so funny.
killed.
But yeah, so those are the things that perhaps are bound to excite us in this new day and age of social media revolution. All right, so Game week 7, there was also another outage in game week 7, a serious power outage or system outage. I think maybe Facebook and Instagram were suffering from the effects of game week 7 as well. What a game week that was. Well, let's not preempt. I think we can just jump right into the fixtures and see how they played out and maybe react to some very interesting results. So, of course, we'll start with the early kickoff on Saturday, which was Elma's beloved Manchester United versus Everton. I don't even
yeah.
want to say much. Elma, take us through
Yeah.
this match. How was this game, man?
First of all, the lineups were wrong because we've been crying for Van de Beek to start. Pogba didn't even start. Ronaldo didn't start. So the lineups was just poor. And then we scored a good goal. Martial scored a good goal coming back to the side, which I was happy for him to score. And then for like Fred was bullied off the ball. We had a stronger CDM like maybe Rodri, Fabinho. So nothing like that will have happened. So we're longing for that midfielder. We're longing for that good midfield. And
Oh wow, I hear you. For me, it was an amazing performance. It was okay. What was calamitous for me was that Ronaldo decision, which we will talk about, I think, a bit later. For me, and I think other 2 million FPL managers. But as an Arsenal fan, I really enjoyed seeing Manchester United living their best lives on the pitch, being bullied by
This is the thing,
Dokule,
yeah.
my Gray.
This is the thing. They actually would have been slapped in that game. Very narrow offside, very narrow. It could have gone anywhere.
Yeah,
I feel,
Mina's goal.
yeah, and I mean, I just begs the question for me: what's wrong with Manchester United? Elma, maybe you can tell us.
No. I think we have not yet started to see the action, because when you look at the fixtures that Man United are expecting in the next 4 or 5 game weeks, if this is what we are seeing now, unless there's a radical shift in the team's mentality, they're about to
Not
be
even 4-5. The next 10.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're about to be a frustrated bunch for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for Manchester. We'll look at that match from an FPL point of view later on. Then we had the boring Burnley Norwich match. Everyone expected Burnley to capitalize on Norwich's poor form, but they were not able to. Then the Chelsea versus Southampton. Chelsea are one of the favorites, touted as one of the favorites to win the league this season. And they lived up to their billing by beating Southampton, a clean 3-1, a well-deserved win. They really played some good football in that match. Of course, from an FPL perspective, it's a whole different conversation.
But they needed those points. They
And my
needed
people
those
of
points.
Captain Lukaku are sitting right here. Elma, what did you make of Lukaku's performance in that match? Did you watch that match?
Yeah, I watched the match. Yeah, actually, the third goal that Chile scored, I think he should have scored it, and then he hit the post. So I was excited for a minute, but he didn't score it.
Yeah.
But they considered a penalty, which is unlucky. But if General Prowse didn't get a red card, I think the game would have ended in a draw. So I think they were
Really?
lucky in that. Yeah, I was not sure that was not a red card in my opinion. So
Okay.
I think they were lucky.
Okay.
For me, I didn't feel like Lukaku really impacted himself in that match as much as we would want to see. It's I don't know. Even when I try to look back, I don't remember him having so many shots at goal or being a menace as he usually is. You know, somehow the game was in favor of the likes of Timo Werner, you know, who got himself in some really good positions and got some really good chances. And I don't know if this can also bring a different conversation as to Timo Werner being now a differential option if Tuchel decides to go with, you know, both of them up top, you know, because he can definitely benefit from Lukaku knockdowns and be clinical in that sense. But yeah,
I think it was really a good tactical move. I think it gave Timo Werner a lot of freedom to actually just roam around. You know, when Lukaku makes a run, definitely Werner is on the other side of that run and definitely capitalizes on that. However, Chelsea needed those 3 points, especially after back-to-back losses, 1-0 losses in Man City and Juve. They needed those 3 points bad.
Yeah, they needed to bounce back. Okay, so that was Chelsea with a nice 3-1 win. Then who was next?
And
yeah, Leeds playing a 1-0 draw at home to Watford. Honestly, I think most of us expected this match to be more high scoring. 1-0 was quite underwhelming. But of course, Leeds are happy to get their win.
The first win of the season.
First win of the season at the expense of Watford. Speaking of Watford, there were consequences to this match. I think I don't know if it was as a result of their result that the manager was sacked, but the manager was sacked swiftly after, and they've moved quickly to bring a Premier League proven manager, Dilly Dong himself, Mr. Claudio Ranieri. What do you guys think? Will Claudio Ranieri do good at Watford?
Watford are winning the league next year.
If only.
It's a good choice. Good choice. Very experienced manager. I think he will try and keep them in the Premier League. I think that's the objective, of course. Having been promoted, I mean it's a very good choice. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, was it the last match? This was Arsenal.
Yeah, and very
Arsenal against Brighton. Of course, we were so high. We were still in the euphoria of. I've skipped the Wolves Newcastle match. I'll talk about that later. But the Arsenal game, Arsenal fans, we were all expecting some magic, some fireworks in this game. It didn't turn out to be so. We were actually quite lucky to come out.
We were lucky to come out with a point.
To come out of the Amex Stadium with a point. Save was it not for Ramsdale's heroics and just some quality defending right there. Those guys were running rings around us. It was insane.
They could have slapped us like good.
Elma, what do you think about this Brighton side? Potter seems to have done a number on them. Do you think they're actually there to prove something this season?
I think they might finish top 8. Let me say top 8 because I like their defense. They are very good defensively. The back five is usually so good. I think they can finish top 8. Yeah.
And you realize they were so devastating while missing, I think, 3 of their most influential players. Tariq Lamptey was not in the game. Yves Bissouma was not in the game.
Welbeck
was not in the game. But then when you see how these guys are playing, the passage of play, the patterns of play, the high press football, I mean, some tiki-taka-ish aspect and the running. These guys are running tireless. That Cucurella guy, he didn't tire. He didn't tire all game.
Hey, he was taking Tomiyasu's soul.
Yeah, Brighton are looking really good. I think they just need to work on that finishing. Maybe they get another striker to help Mopey. I know they have Danny Welbeck, but maybe they could benefit from another striker. I feel like that's all they're missing at this point in time for them to do some serious damage in the league. But yeah, Brighton played a really amazing match. And then, of course, the one I forgot, Wolves versus Newcastle, played out a 2-1 win in favor of Wolves. Of course, is he Chinese or is he Japanese? Huan Chuang, Hai Chuang.
Must be Japanese.
Japanese.
Yes. Yeah. He's Asian. At least he's Asian. We know that for sure.
No, he's actually a very good player. I think I like his runs on and off the ball. He's quite pacey and quite athletic. He's very good in terms of his vision. His shooting is very. I mean, shoots on target, and he's actually a very good striker, and a very good partner to Jimenez right there.
No, yeah, we saw him at Salzburg partnering. Of course, now the legend in the making, Erling Haaland, and for him to come out in the Premier League and also, introduce his presence like he did against Newcastle. I mean, what a way to come into the league. We hope he does well. We hope he settles in. We are definitely up for some cheaper forward options for producing.
That's right.
So I wouldn't mind going for him so that I can get some money to beef up my midfield. But that was definitely a good performance from Wolves. Raul Jimenez bringing in the points. Not finally, but again, the second game week in a row. So maybe he's turning a corner and starting to show some form, and it's good news all around. And on Sunday, this is where now all the action happened.
Yeah, it was a super Sunday.
Crystal Palace versus Leicester. This was quite an amazing match. Leicester looked to be running away with it at halftime, but lo and behold, Crystal Palace had something else in mind. I wonder if this is now the mentality of the manager that is starting to show, and the character of the manager that is starting to show in this team. Usually, Watford are not. Crystal Palace are not known to be, I guess, this resilient. To come back from 2-0 against a Leicester side, who are, of course, we know how good they are. That shows definitely a lot of character, and it shows the work that the manager is doing, Patrick Vieira is doing in this team. What do you think? Do you think Watford can cause problems this season? Elma?
Crystal Palace.
Oh, sorry, Crystal Palace. I'm not from Watford.
Crystal Palace. If Zaha is the main guy there, so if he clicks, I think they'll be okay. And also, this Edward guy is also good.
Yeah, it's on Edward.
Finishing. I think, if those guys are able to click, I think they'll be able to finish better than they finished last season. They'll be more comfortable than last season.
Yeah, and they actually have quite a few rising stars. Gallagher showing some real quality this season. And remember, Eberechi Eze, I don't know if he's injured.
Eberechi Eze, he's injured.
Yeah, he's also not featured. So they have quite some exciting.
Olise announced himself over the weekend. New signing, Mike Olise.
Yeah, the young man.
I mean, they're actually quite resilient as a team, and they're looking a good outfit. Sorry for, I mean, we're facing them next as Arsenal. I'm really not looking forward to that game.
No, that will be a big test for sure.
Yeah.
Zaha is known to be a menace against Arsenal, so maybe you guys who are looking to wildcard for game week 8, that can be an option. We'll talk about that later. So yeah, that was an entertaining 2-2 match. Then Tottenham salvaged their season with a 2-1 win against Aston Villa. Very welcome 3 points for them finally. Son, the star of the show, with a goal and an assist. And hopefully they'll pick up the momentum once more. What do you think?
I mean, probably, yeah. The momentum definitely is just on their side, and yeah, I'm really looking forward. I'm looking forward to just seeing how they actually just go on as well. I think Nuno still needs time either way. But that game, they still didn't play convincing. I think Aston Villa deserved to get a result from that game. Aston Villa really playing a good game at the moment. Yeah, but yeah, let's wait and see.
Of course, the biggest talking point from that match is the fact that Harry Kane still did not score. Of course, despite coming off the hat-trick against, was it Moura in the Conference League, he's still not been able to open his Premier League account in terms of goals. I don't know at what point.
There's something I noticed from that game. I think he had a lot more shots than in the previous games as well. So that is quite encouraging because he wasn't getting any service in the previous game. So I think that is something I noticed from that Aston Villa game.
Yeah, okay, let's wait and see if, because of course, if Harry Kane starts firing, Tottenham will start seeing the results soon rather than later.
Yep.
Yeah, so and then the other amazing game, West Ham versus Brentford. Today, Watford is all over my
your lips.
West Ham versus Brentford. My goodness. You know, for me, honestly, I had Raya in my team in the post, but I had already given up on Raya's point. I just expected that West Ham would wipe the floor with Brentford. You know, I thought it would be an easy job for them. Of course, looking at that West Ham team, how they're on form, the kind of players they have, I was just like, I know Brentford are doing something, but there's no way they can be, hurdle to this West Ham side. But my goodness, Brentford are looking like the real deal.
Yeah, they're looking quite good. I think many teams will lose points to them this season because they're so attacking. So I think it will be tough to beat them. Their defense looks good. Their goalkeeper is also quite good, and Mbuemo and Ivan Toney are doing their bits up there. So I think it will be tough to beat those guys for many big teams. We saw Liverpool losing points there. I think other teams will also lose points to them.
Yeah, actually, the two most informed teams have lost points to them. That's Liverpool and West Ham at this point in time. Yeah, so, Adioga, anything you want to say with regards to Brentford?
Yeah, I think Brentford, as I mentioned in, I think, one of the previous shows, that they're just a surprise package for this season, especially because they have a unique playing style to many other teams in the league. And I think that's why they're actually really wiping the floor with a lot of some of these teams and taking up points. But I think just the way they fight for each other as a team, for me, is what really stands out. But also goals are coming in from everywhere. They're good at set pieces, especially. So yeah, that's really. And I've been talking about Mbuemo for weeks, and here he is still delivering.
Yeah, he finally got his goal. I know that was his second goal, I think, in the league so far.
Yeah.
Definitely Brentford is a team to watch. Surprise package so far in the season. Brighton is the biggest surprise package, yes, but Brentford are a pleasant surprise in that we had written them off, but then they're showing us that they have the pedigree to compete in this stage. So yeah, that was it. And then, of course, the feature match, rightly so, I think these guys knew what this game was going to be. That's why they gave it prime time last March, Gameweek. And my goodness, the football that was on show for this match was to die for. I remember
were
we
treated
with the ideal guy, and for me, one particular moment. Forget even the Salah goal. There is a pass that came from Ederson to Bernardo Silva. That was
floated,
oh my goodness.
waited.
I never seen a keeper make a pass like that. Hey, the quality that was on show in this match was absolutely stunning. It was edge of the seat kind of stuff. I mean, what do we say about this game? 2-2 draw. We couldn't ask for more. And us neutrals who are neither Liverpool or Man City fans, I think a draw was the best result we can get, so that none of these teams gets a big head start. But we were treated to some orgasmic football, sublime football. I can remember. There's so many moments to pick out. You know.
Yeah.
I wonder, Elma, any moment that stood out for you in terms of the quality that was on show for this match?
I think the Bernardo Silva when he was in the middle and stole the ball from Henderson, then went around the guys. They made a good pass. Then also the Salah goal. The second Salah goal was also amazing. Wow, the game was just so good. The game was so good.
No, for sure. Hey, Bernardo Silva ran rings around 5 players, and Van Dijk was one of them.
Van Dijk was on the floor.
And of course, Salah would not have that sitting. He made sure that Bernardo paid. He also made sure he sat on the floor. You know? I mean, this was an amazing game.
To be honest, we were actually very much treated in this game. It had everything. It had from counter attacks to to players taking on one-on-one, build up play. Keepers showing their quality here and there. Defenses actually showing top quality. I think we're just treated to a match of 2 top sides in the league, and this just shows you that how far together with Chelsea, these 3 teams are actually away from every other team in the league. The quality is just right up there, and I believe they're just going to run away with this league.
No, for sure. Honestly, unless we start showing up to matches with some hammers and wrenches, there's no way we are beating these guys. Hey, these guys.
That's quality.
These guys are another level. But then, of course, also... No, I didn't.
I just wanted to say, but it also showed me how much Manchester City need a striker, because some of those chances they should have just won that first half.
Yeah, Phil Foden missed a whole host of chances before he finally put one away.
Yeah, because Liverpool just came alive in the second half, and the first half they were nowhere. They could have gone down by 4 or 5 because of the clear-cut chances that were there. So yeah, I think they definitely need that striker, but they're still looking good either way.
No, yeah, they're looking really good. I just wanted to say it's interesting that all these teams are wowing us in the league, the likes of Chelsea, Man City, and Liverpool. But when they go out in the Champions League, it's not really the same case in terms of, even if they get wins, there's a sense of this quality that we are seeing in the Premier League and feeling like they're formidable. But then when they go out there in the world stage, they're being matched toe to toe. So it's more or less showing you that as much as, yes, we are being treated to some amazing quality of football in the league, there's still some work to be done. Imagine Liverpool and Man City and the kind of game we saw, but then Man City are not sufficient or are not strong enough to beat PSG, for example, and PSG is losing to everyone in Ligue A. They're losing to Rennes. Rennes beat them 2-0 the other day. They're losing to some teams that the Watfords of Ligue A. So I guess football is a curious game in that sense that you can't always predict how it will go. But for sure, as the feature match, this was the best game I've seen this season.
Yeah.
The second one would have to be Brentford and Liverpool, the 3-3.
It was. We were
In
treated as
terms
well.
of, but for that one, it's just because it was so entertaining. But
And
for
so
this,
open.
this one was quality. Like there was true quality on display from every part of the pitch. Not the keeper, not the defenders, not the midfielders. I mean, what a game that was. That's what Game Week 7 definitely had to serve us. And it's interesting when you look at the score sheets for all this match. Maybe we can look at the results again once more. When you look at the score sheet for all these matches, you see there were quite a lot of goals that were scored. Quite a lot of goals. On Sunday, every game was over 2.5,
Yes.
right? Every game had 3 goals or more. On Saturday, at least it was a bit, the goals were a bit scarce, but then we had two goals being scored in at least a match, except for the 2 matches the 2-0 draws that we had. The reason I bring that up is because these kind of scorelines were not reflected in our FPL performances. It's interesting that I think it was a once in a lifetime occurrence, or one of those very rare occurrences where you have such scorelines, but then the scorers are all players that you are not expecting to score. I think we can just transition into our FPL teams, and then maybe we'll look at it literally how it played out in our teams.
Yeah.
We can start. Whose do we start with? We start with Elmas today.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we
So
go.
My team didn't do so bad, although I usually aim to hit the 50 mark, but 49 is also not bad. Obviously, Lukaku blanking was the main issue because Ronaldo didn't play, so I was hoping for Lukaku points there. And then also Jota blanking again. I think he's not performing well, and Firmino is back, so I'm not sure about him. But I think the rest of the team, I think Rafinha maybe would have done better. Even Benrahma and Antonio didn't play so well. I think there are many changes to the team to come, but in overall, I don't think my team did so bad.
But you know what's interesting is that when you look at that team, you have all the big names. You have all the big names, and just exactly what I was saying, because Rafinha blanking, Jota blanking, Benrahma, Antonio, Lukaku, Rudiger, all these are the players that are actually on form. Not only big names, but then there are players that are actually on form. But then it shows you just how much Game Week 7 was unpredictable,
Yeah.
And if only you knew maybe to captain Jimenez or Salah, you'd probably be soaring up. But I'm definitely not one to talk. Wait till you see my captain. Okay, so I guess that was Elma's performance for Game Week 7. We can go to Ideal Guy's performance. Pretty decent performance.
First of all, yeah, it was decent. I actually, I don't know why, but for the it was decent. A decent performance. I wasn't really satisfied by it because it wasn't really my full potential. The potential points that I actually should have got for this week must have been actually quite more. I made some last-minute rash decisions that really cost me. For example, as you can see, Sanchez for Foster. I switched that towards the last few minutes of the game week because I thought Arsenal would score in that game, and I also thought Foster would probably make a couple of saves as well against Leeds. So, I mean, a lot of decisions there that Alonso as well, really disappointing. Alonso was benched, as we all know, and Chile looks like he's back in the side and, just came and banged the goal in, looking like he wants to cement his place. Other decisions, backline, I think, of course, taking Trent out and bringing in Rudiger was a good move for me long term. Especially why I brought actually Rudiger is especially because of price rises. I think everyone was jumping onto him, and I really wanted to have him in. But I mean, well, I decided to go with the captain, the differential captain. This is the reason why I knew everyone is going to captain Ronaldo or Lukaku. So in the preview show, I mentioned that I'm going to captain Salah. And I honestly don't know why I never trusted my gut, because I just had a feeling that he would actually nick a goal or two in that game. And of course, he bagged a goal and an assist with taking all the bonus points. And for me, that I think when I was just seeing that, I was in tears. I was in tears looking at the potential of 70 points just passing me, by the face. But not too bad a performance either way. I also brought in Jimenez, of course, to replace Bamford into my team, and especially because of the price rises. And I'm talking about price rises a lot because I'm looking to wildcard in game week 8. So I needed to at least just be on the safe side of the price rises so that I don't get caught out as well. So that's how I performed. 55 points, not too bad. Green arrows as well, still climbing the ranks. But that's it is what it is.
No, I think I just want to say, looking at your team, I feel like you are probably the reason why this game week went the way it did. Because when I look at your team, you don't have Lukaku, you don't have Ronaldo. So you would have suffered a deadly one had they performed, considering they were the two most captain players and everyone was expecting at least 2 goals from each of these players. If you imagine all these players had performed the way they had it was expected, you would be wallowing in misery right now.
And when I saw that Manchester United fixture the team sheet, I was so happy because I knew this is an opportunity for Bruno to actually step up.
It looked like it was written in the stars.
Yeah, it was written in the stars. I'm like, goodness.
Finally punish us for selling him for Ronaldo.
I know, but
at least he was one of the captains for you who brought in something, so which is definitely a plus in this instant. But 55 in a game week where everyone was struggling to get to 30. I mean, that was a pretty decent performance.
It
was a pretty decent performance. I can't wait to see your wildcard for game week 8. Now, if you've seen online, the drafts are already too many. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be you because of the confusion in this next few weeks.
Mine is already set. It's just a matter of just clicking a button.
Okay. All right, can't wait to do that preview for game week 8. All right, so basically this was my performance. Dinosaurus, as you can see, 58 points was the scoreline. Again, not too bad, but of course the biggest letdown was the goat. I think I should call him the Mbuzi. At this point, he's not acting like a goat. and similarly to Kabale, for me also, I had my captain chip on Vardy, which I switched 15 minutes to the deadline because I sat next to some Manchester United fans that they made it sound like they had inside information that this guy was gonna kill. So I was like, hey, I wouldn't want to miss out on this. It was the devil's voice. I should have known they are red devils. That was the biggest letdown for my team. But the biggest thumbs up for my team was that I removed my one transfer. I used it to get rid of Robertson and brought in Azpilicueta. Now, in the same way, for me, I was really seeing a lot of movement around Alonso. And this season, I'm having a big differential vibe, So I was like, everyone is going for Alonso. And I'm not too sure about following the pack. So I just looked at that Chelsea backline and I was like, who's the next best option, So I was showing Ideal Guy how I look at those ICT indexes and all that. And when you look at Azpilicueta's performance and Alonso's performance, the difference was actually so small. Azpilicueta has actually been as influential, if not more. So I thought, hey, let me try this guy out. And lo and behold, it paid off big time. And actually, he would have gotten a lot more points. If you saw that game, he squared some few balls to Timo Werner, who did not manage to finish, or finished but then were disallowed for one reason or another. So Azpilicueta was actually a very big menace in this match. And yeah, that was one of the transfers that I was so happy with. So far, my differentials are paying out. Ismail Assar gaming good. Spiliqueta has come good. Jimenez, this is the second week in a row I'm getting the points. Vardy, second week in a row. And I think that's the reason why Dinosaurus is doing so well so far this season. And yeah, that's definitely basically my performance. I think I should mention that at this point, the interesting or amazing thing is I sit at position 24 in Kenya, part of the standings. So exciting for me. Of course, also I'm looking at it with some candle eyes because I'm like, it could be snatched away in an instant,
Are you still top of FFZ League?
Yes. I'm top of all the local leagues except Karoradul and Scoreline, which I'm number 4 and number 5.
Okay.
But yeah, game week 8 might just be where maybe things come back to normal, or we never know.
I mean, you can always keep the momentum up.
With FPL, you only play one match at a time, man. It's just one game week at a time.
The thing is, I think you definitely have been making some good decisions. And again, your team is actually so flexible and good in that you can actually sub out one premium for another. Transfer out. And the rotations that you've been able to do just so far allow you to actually be flexible, in your team. So I think you've definitely been you've been on a roll, but yeah, let's see when we play our wildcard if it will as well match up to how good your wildcard has been.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't, but let's see.
You also see they are picking differentials is also so good because, like for me, I don't take risks. I follow the people. So I think maybe if I follow your route, maybe we may be up there.
Yeah, but this. I think one of the honestly, I feel like one of the most difficult skills to master in FPL, which I find the biggest challenge is knowing when to follow the pack or when to go a different direction. Because there is a time when, for example, when Ronaldo came into the league, right? You remember that first match, and guys were skeptical. So there's a pack that was like, "There's no way I'm not having Ronaldo in my team. I take a hit, I bring him in." There are guys who are like, "No, let's wait and see how Ronaldo performs." First game, 13 points. And the same was that same game week. It was the same for Lukaku as well, 13 points.
Yeah.
So a lot of the skeptics who are like, "No, I'm going a different direction," they definitely paid for it. But everyone who went with the crowd, they definitely got the benefit of it. So I think that's one of the biggest challenge we will face this season. Just knowing how to balance those two voices, when to go with the crowd or just when to go your own way. And I guess that's the game,
But
isn't it?
you see, I think when the season starts, it's really difficult to choose, especially because there's not a lot of stats to actually look at to back actually your thoughts. So you're just going with probably your gut feeling of this player could actually perform. You've not really seen how managers' systems are actually working and how they're playing. I think as you go into the season, of course, you get a lot more of that. You get to see how managers are actually setting up. You're going to see how rotation could actually look like in some certain teams. So I think as it gets along with the season, stats definitely and fixtures, of course, now contribute to decision making. I don't think going with the crowd is the best way to go going into the season.
I'll say we'll just have to wait and see. What do you think, Edmund?
I also think these decisions are usually tough to make during the start. But I think from game week 10 there to 12 is where you start getting the good players, the good teams. You see, like now Brentford, no one thought Brentford will perform. So I think Brentford will jump on their guys. I think it just takes a matter of time before people get the players, the good players, and jump on them.
Yeah, but you remember also last season what happened, for example, with Salah and Bruno. Towards the end of the season last season, they hit a slump. Someone like Bruno actually didn't perform for like 5 game weeks, 6 game weeks in a row. But then he held a lot of us hostage because he had such a good season so far. So like we were afraid to move away from Bruno, but then with each passing week he would not perform, and we are there with an expensive midfielder.
Yeah.
6 game weeks later is when we are now having the discussion of, hey, should we now remove Bruno? Something like that. So I think sometimes it's just, like I say, we just take it a game at a time, because I think, and we just need to be so keen to, I think watching the games actually really helps.
The eye
Because
test.
when you watch the game, there's, Ideal Guy just mentioned it. There's the eye test. When you look at when you're seeing the game, there's the eye test. There are certain players who they may not get the points, but just how they are playing and the movement and the chances, and you can definitely have a feeling that this guy is about to produce. He's not producing, but he's about to produce, But then also you can see some performances and be like, hey, it's time to get off from this ship. This guy is looking a bit tired. He's looking a bit rusty. So watching the games actually just be over and above relying on the stats, because sometimes stats don't tell the story like it was in the game, Yeah, so those are some of the tips maybe that we can share during the international break. So maybe some of us can go back and rewatch some of those matches, or maybe look at some highlights. You people who are planning wildcards, maybe see some players you have not seen, because here's another detriment of wildcarding for me, I feel, for game week 8, for example, because you'll be basing it so far on the performances of the previous game weeks. So you'll be looking at mostly the players who have performed well so far into the season. But then we are coming from a break. So some players have rested, teams have had time to recoach, reward. So there are some other players that you have definitely not foreseen, that who are likely to hit the ground running when it comes. And then there are the ones that immediately the game week starts, you're trying to find a way now to remove the players you brought to bring them in, So there's that aspect of us maybe, and maybe, I guess, do you think international break or watching the international matches can help us decide the players and who to bring in with regards to FPL, especially the ones that will be on show for international? Or do you think it affects some performances coming back?
In my opinion, I think internationals don't really contribute towards FPL potential, because they're playing for different managers, playing in different teams, and different systems as well. Conditions are different. They're playing with different players, so it doesn't necessarily. It's not like for like in terms of form versus in international team and versus. Yeah, you could see Kane as well score a couple of goals for England, because there's a lot of service in that team, But now in Tottenham, it's a different case. They're struggling for chances created as well as a team. So I think it's very different. I don't think that's a real point to. However, and also again, you also need to look at what it does to the fitness of players. If a player plays a lot of games, definitely their fitness levels coming back into the league will be something else. But you also need to consider some players from Brazil are going to be quarantined probably for the first week of coming back from international break. Such kind of things really affect the game and the FPL potential of some certain players. In my view, that's my thought.
Yeah, so actually what you've said is it will affect, because I didn't mean necessarily affect positively in that they will have more points, but affect nonetheless in terms of maybe some of them will not feature, or some of them will be fatigued, so they'll not be able to complete the 60 minutes required for them to get, the maximum points and such like things. So I think we need to keep an eye on the players that have gone out on international duty, and maybe if they're in our teams, maybe try and find a way to have a buffer for them, in case anything happens and something like that. All right, so that's it basically for game week 7. I don't think I have anything else to add. We'll definitely do a show in between, an international break special, where we'll do like an analysis of looking at how the season has been so far, the players who have outperformed themselves, the players who have disappointed so far in the season, and whether they have a chance to redeem themselves, and this kind of things that should help us maybe re-strategize when it comes to looking forward to the next few run of games after the international break. So you can watch out for that. And yeah, a lot more content to come your way as we progress. So that's it from my side. Anything from your side, Elma or Ideal Guy?
Nothing.
Yeah, I mean it's been a real pleasure having Elma on board. Big up to you as well. For all you our viewers, please go check him out on his YouTube channel, Elma254, as well, and also on his social media platforms, Elma254. Yeah, I mean, big up, bro, for joining us on this Game Week 7 preview and review. Would love to have you again and again.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me here. Interacting with you guys has been good for me. At least I'm knowing people in the FPL rankings. At least when I see you, I can go and check where you are. Like when I saw you in top 30, I was even surprised. So I was like, yeah, I know this guy. So that we can become number 1 so that I can brag to my friends. Yeah, I know this guy.
That's the dream, man. That's the dream.
Amazing.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for keeping us company, guys. We really appreciate. Please subscribe if you've not yet been able to. Share to anyone who's a fan of football and fantasy football. We are trying to build the FPL community in Kenya and East Africa. So yeah, we wouldn't mind your support. Just help us grow the community, and definitely look forward for some amazing content to come your way from the zone. This is basically the review show. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Catch you on the next one.
Bye-bye.